Let's do a quick survey step for this passage. What this means is I'm going to dash through the questions and mark them up where relevant, and this will inform my approach in the active reading, which will be another video. Doing this survey is a time management strategy. Looking at the questions first makes it possible for you to search and destroy on a passage like this. So, for example, if you identify a vocabulary and context question, on test day, you could answer that question as soon as you encounter it. And I'll model other opportunities like that as we go through. This is intended to be a quick step, to be clear. We want to figure out what we should be reading for and move on. I'm asking myself, can I do this now if I had to, or will I have to do this later? So our strategy here is very simple. First, we want to read the blurb at the top of the passage, and then we're going to skim the questions for targets and map out the passage by marking it, and then during the active reading step you would tackle the passage in big chunks, doing the questions as you go. But for now, let's get started by reading the blurb. And the blurb is just this part up here, right? This passage is adapted from Ian King, Can Economics Be Ethical? The passage is all about that question, can economics be ethical? So with that blurb in our heads, let's start going through the questions themselves. Question 1, the main purpose of the passage is to blank. Okay, I gotta read the whole passage to understand this one. I can't do it right now. Question 2, in the passage, the author anticipates which of the following objections to criticizing the ethics of free markets. So it's a question about what argument the author anticipates. When I read the passage, I'll look for that. I'll look for objections to criticizing the ethics of free markets. All right, question 3, which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? So this question provides evidence for question 2, which makes my job easier. The question will be in one of these 4 places. And when I do question 2, I'm going to do question 3 at the same time. Question 4, as used in line 6, embraced most nearly means. All right, so this is a vocabulary question. And on test day, I might even do this question right now. So let's look for line 6, embraced. I'll pop over to the passage. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to mark it. There we go, embraced. Yeah, on test day, if I wanted to, I could read a line before, read a line ahead, and then use my vocabulary question strategies to answer it. But we'll get to those strategies in a later video. For now, all I want to do is just mark it and move on. To question 5. So the main purpose of the 5th paragraph is to blank. Okay, this is a save it for later question for sure. We'll need to have read the entire 5th paragraph. As used in line 49, clashes most nearly means. Okay, so that's another vocabulary question. If we wanted to, we could do that right now during this step. But for now, let's just mark the word clashes in line 49. I'm going to pop over to the passage. 50, 49, there's clashes. All right. And now we were on question 7. Which choice best supports the author's claim that there is common ground shared by the different approaches to ethics described in the passage? So this choice is asking us to cite textual evidence to support a claim, but I feel like we're going to need to have the whole passage under our belt in order to do this one. Move on to question 8. The main idea of the final paragraph is that blank. All right, and that's just asking, what's the final paragraph about? Question 9, data in the graph about per pound coffee profits in Tanzania most strongly support which of the following statements? Let's look at the graph. Okay, there's the graph. Cool. This question is asking, what is the graph telling us? And note that it's a question about just the graph and not the passage. So if you were strapped for time, you could do this question now just by reading the graph. Now let's look at question 10. Data in the graph indicate that the greatest difference between per pound profits from fair trade coffee, blah, 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 occurred during which period? This is the same deal as question 9. We can do both of these questions just looking at the graph, right? It's asking us, what do the data tell us? And then finally, question 11, data in the graph provide the most direct support for which idea in the passage? Okay, so this means that you're going to have to understand the ideas at play in the passage before you can take this one on, because it's not just the data, it's the data and the ideas in the passage. So that's 4 out of 11 questions that if you needed to rack up some quick victories, you could do that right now. And just as importantly, by looking at these questions first, I've identified some of the ideas I'll want to look for during my active reading step. This was the survey step, and in the next video, you'll see me model an active reading. Good luck out there. You've got this.